You know, there's a great scripture that says, "Love covers a multitude of sins."
I love that verse.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no perfect parenting plan or scheme or schedule. We're human beings after all, and when a kid, first of all, knows that his dad loves his mom, and secondly knows that both parents love them, and under God they are totally loved and cared for. I mean, it's hard for a kid to go wrong in that context.
Can I go back to exactly, because it has to do with that sense of blessing you're talking about. You know, you blessed your kids, and they would lay awake and fake like they're asleep to hear that blessing. What we did, we found that the bedtime ritual is a vital way of transferring a wonderful heart for God. And obviously we prayed over our children, a prayer of blessing over them, and then we always sang the same 3 songs as their lullaby. I mean, they wanted these songs all the way up through their teenage years.
Sure.
It makes all the difference in the world. But what about, you know, but Jim, sometimes our kids marry somebody that doesn't share our value system.
Yeah, of course.
Or they go through a divorce.
Or, yeah, right. And grandparents have to deal with that. And you make the point in the book here that an increasing number of grandparents are having to raise their grandchildren.
Millions of them are raising their grandchildren. Here's the good news about this. Some of the most effective grandparenting, some of the most effective parenting going on today is the ones that grandparents are raising the kids. And why? Well, because, do you play any golf?
I do.
Okay,
but I do.
You know what a mulligan is?
Of course.
It's a do-over.
Yeah.
Well, that's what grandparenting is, because as parents, we don't know what we're doing, so we knock the first one in the lake and the next one in the woods. Well, by the time we're grandparents, we actually can hit one down the middle. And so grandparenting, that's why it's effective, but it's also not what a lot of grandparents were planning in their twilight years. It's physically demanding. It's emotionally demanding. And so we got to make sure if we're raising those kids in our home, we go into that very, how to create an environment when those grandkids are in your home where they feel like this is their home. They're not just visiting. You have to let them decorate their room their way. Yeah, you're going to have to listen to more of their music and all that kind of stuff, just like if it was their home. Well, a lot of grandparents say, well, I didn't ask for that. It's called grandparenting.
Yeah.
It's called love.
Yeah.
And we go into that when we go into, what happens if you have an unbelieving spouse, or what about the money thing? Where does that line go between being a hand up or a hand out, and a lot of things like that.
I was quite intrigued with chapter 14, where you talk about intervening versus interfering. There is a constant tension, is there not?
Yeah.
In all of us, to understand, first of all, the difference between the two, but secondly, to just stay out of our grandkids' lives and our children's lives as it relates to just interference.
Right.
What about this?
Well, Jim, when you were a young dad, did you want your parents telling you how to discipline your kids?
Of course not.
Of course not. It's just by nature. We don't want that. And so, for the most part, the role of the grandparent when it comes to how we watch our kids, raise our kids, is to keep our mouth shut.
Yeah.
But to earn a position of trust with them by being a constant advocate, an encourager, a cheerleader, an ambassador on their behalf, always come alongside them as an ally and an asset. So let's say they're just absolute food freaks about what their kids eat, and they say, please don't feed them junk when they come. Well, don't feed them junk. Yeah. I mean, if they come over to my house, there's the ice cream, help yourself. Yeah. And let's put some sugar on. I'm a grandparent, I get to spoil. But if that's what they say, well, I don't want that, then we don't want that. Right.
But why don't we, you brought some pictures. I want to just go to those pictures right now. there's a shot of you and your oldest daughter.
No, that's my wife.
Oh, that's your wife. Oh, okay. All right. Why do you look so old?
Yeah, because I am old. I'm 60.
You shouldn't have pictures with you and her together.
Yeah, I know.
I have the same problem.
I know. Well, there we go.
People see me with Kathy and they say, he must be really rich.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And then,
and who are these?
That's
Riley and Lydia. And Riley and Lydia are our oldest daughters, two daughters, and they entered us into the Holy of Holies there of grandparenting. And then we just got a new one, brand new. That's Kyler with his, our son's wife. Our son is at Dallas Seminary, and that's Kyler. He's brand new. I just met him this weekend.
Just met him?
Yeah, because he just was born 3 weeks ago. Now, that brings up, what about long distance grandparenting?
Yeah, what about that?
Well, the neat thing is that we have technology now.
Skype.
We have Skype.
Yeah.
In fact, I upgraded both myself and my son to the iPhone 4G,
Right.
so we could have FaceTime. And I said, and he was so grateful when I was there. I said, upgraded his phone. It's several $100 to upgrade it. And I said, son, I appreciate but this isn't about you. This is about Kyler. I want to be able to see my grandson. I can talk to you any day.
Isn't it phenomenal? Yesterday, I said hi for the first time in a year and a half to Kathy's sister and her husband, who are missionaries in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
They're back in Canada for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, how you doing? And I realized that, I mean, I've been talking to them every few weeks on Skype. Mm-hmm. It's like they're living next door. I mean, it's phenomenal. What a great thing for a grandparent.
Oh, it's phenomenal. And to keep their pictures in front of you, updated pictures, to know what's going on in their life, to email them, to text message them, to Facebook with them. All these things are ways that you can stay connected. But we need to be their cheerleader, not their critic.
Yeah, yeah. What do the two oldest grandchildren, the two little girls, what do they call you?
They call me Papa.
Papa.
And she's Nano.
Nano?
Nana.
Nano.
Nana. And by the way, they get naming rights.
Of course.
You're going to be called whatever they say you're called. Whereas we name our kids. But you know, you know what I got? The biggest eye opener for me is how much better a grandparent gets along with the grandkids than those kids actually get along with their own parents. Have you noticed that?
I've noticed.
Grandparents and grandchildren always get along better than the kids get along with, and I found out why. The reason grandparents and grandchildren get along so well is they both share a common source of annoyance. You see, we're both let's just even the score here.
Positive spoiling.
Yeah.
You know, I've always done a kind of a spin on spoiling. I've said, and it sounds kind of sober and maybe a little bit doctrinaire, but I've always said that you spoil a kid by not loving a kid. But what you're talking about here is just indulging them.
As grandparents, first of all, we by this time we should know what matters and what doesn't matter. We should know what you make issues out of, what you don't make. You don't make issues out of hair. You don't make issues out of style. You don't make issues out of musical styles, all that stuff. For crying out loud, we should know better than this. And then on top of that, we do have, hopefully by now, we have more resources than their parents have, and so there's things we can do for them. For instance, this week, when I go back to U.S., I'm going to bring the girls. My wife's still in Dallas with her, the newest one. And Darcy's there, and I'm going to fly with the two granddaughters to there, and we're going to. I speak for a whole week at a family camp in Texas. Well, this is the 4th year in a row we've taken our granddaughters with us, so their parents get a week off, and we get a week with our granddaughters out at a wonderful place like that. And that's family vacations are one way. Maybe paying for the kids' braces, helping out on education. Those are all ways.
Oh, this is terrific. The book is called Extreme Grandparenting. And you're going to be hearing more from Dr. Tim Kimmel over the next few days. I think Moira is going to have some time with you there on air.
And they can go to our website to get that.
What is your website?
FamilyMatters.net. I have a great verse. Can I finish with it? This is a great grandparenting verse. Wonderful, wonderful verse. Psalm 71, 17 and 18. Since my youth, O God, you've taught me, and to this day I declare your marvelous deeds. And even when I'm old and gray, do not forsake me, O God, till I declare your power to the next generation, your might to all who are to come.
Well, there you go. Terrific word from you, Tim, and we'll be hearing more from Dr. Tim Kimmel.